All right, and hi, welcome again, everybody, to the Fort Hood Combatives Championships live from Fort Hood on MyTex. I am Pierre Nugent. Joining me now, to my left, Sergeant Brandon Sales, and to my far left, Sergeant Colton Smith. We've got an exciting night of fights coming up. Third place fights and championship fights are on the card tonight from Fort Hood. Guys, it's certainly an exciting night for you guys. You guys both have experience in the ring. Sergeant Sales, we'll start with you. What can we expect to see tonight in the ring at Fort Hood?
Well, like you said, we're going to see a good competition. Some of the best fighters in the United States Army out here representing, their post, and just, soldiers across the Army going out there, putting their best foot forward and showing what we do when we go down range.
Staff Sergeant Colton Smith joining us as well, and Colton, you're going to be cornering some of the fights, the championship fights that are coming on later tonight. You're going to be actually cornering for some of these fights, so I'm sure you're going to get a first-hand look at some of the fights. What's it like for you cornering instead of being in the ring?
It's actually a little more stressful cornering than it is actually being in the ring. So there's a lot more stress on me and my shoulders, making sure I make the right calls for my fighter, and I can see what he can't see while he's in the cage.
Well, we got a big night of fights on the way, and now what we're going to do, we're going to toss to our house announcer. He's going to lead us through the preparation as we get set for fight night here at Fort Hood.
That will be sung by Sergeant Erika Escalante from the 1st Cav Band.
Before we pray, last night one of the soldiers who was competing here today received a Red Cross call. His baby was put into the hospital and he was flown out last night. Staff Sergeant Andrew McLaughlin. And I'd just like to pray for him real quick and for his family. And if you guys would just join me for the safety of his children. Father, we just lift Andrew up to you, and we ask that you would be with him and his family in this time, that, Lord, you would do a miracle there. And Father, we also pray for all the heroes that are here today, that they, like those who have gone before them, are warriors. You alone have commanded us to go and consecrated us for this very purpose. I pray that you would bless all the men and women here today as they demonstrate your character, the character of a warrior who, like you, is willing to lay down their life on the behalf of others and engage their enemies. You, Father, are the one who calls us, develops us, and trains us. We are your weapons against evil, and you have summoned us for this time of conflict and evil. Let us be beacons of hope and light in a dark world for those who are looking for truth and freedom. Let us be mighty men and women of valor and weapons of justice in the hands of a loving, fierce, and warrior God. Teach us and lead us so that we will represent you, our country, and our units today in competition and tomorrow on the battlefield. We pray that you keep us safe today, that there will be no significant injuries. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Commanding General 3-Corps Fort Hood, Lieutenant General Donald M. Campbell, Jr.
All right, Fort Hood, you ready to rumble? Welcome to the 2012 Army Combatives Championship, hosted by Fort Hood, Texas, home of the great place. It's great to have you here. Congratulations to all the teams that sent competitors this year. Great turnout. Congratulations to all of the competitors for showing the warrior ethos, the Army spirit, and staying Army strong. Tonight, we got consolation bouts to start, followed by the championship bouts a little later tonight. I want to thank all of you for coming out. Cheer on your teams, cheer on your competitors. Make sure you know that they're all Army strong and they're all winners because they're in the ring tonight, closing with and destroying the enemy. Phantom Warriors, Army strong. Let's enjoy the night. Hooah!
And you just saw in the ring, that was the general himself, Mr. Don Campbell, in the ring, welcoming everybody here to Fort Hood. And we are just moments away from getting the fight started here, guys. And both of you, like we mentioned, have experience in this competition. Sergeant Sales, for you guys watching at home, is a 3-time champion of this competition in the heavyweight division. Not a bad resume, I would say.
Yeah, luckily I had the opportunity to go down to the combative school and work there, so that's why I'm not competing the last few years. It gives a completely different outlook on the competition itself, but it shows, you know, the workings of a bigger competition and what it takes to make sure that the right training for our soldiers going down range is being taught across the Army. So,
Staff Sergeant Colton Smith as well has experience in this event. He was the runner-up in 2009 in the welterweight division, I believe.
Yep.
And for yourself, Colton, walk us through that experience back in 2009, being able to be the runner-up.
You know, I came back from deployment. I stepped in the tournament about 4 days' notice. Went up a weight class to compete in a smaller division, and I took second place. It was good feeling. I built on that from there, and I'm teaching the soldiers of Fort Hood now, and coaching them as well. So.
For those of you who don't know, both of these men are also professional mixed martial arts fighters, so they make their living in the ring. And guys, as we're about to get this event started, can you tell us a little bit about what it's like when you're back there, about ready to come out to the ring? Are you nervous? Are you ready? What does it feel like when you're about to walk out?
for me, it's just reflecting on all the training I've done, knowing that I am physically, mentally, and, you know, just ready to get it over with. It's the anticipation is the biggest part, well, the hardest part of it all, because, you know, you really do train a lot, some more than others due to the fact that, you know, like you said, Sergeant Colton came back from overseas, jumped right into a competition. But, you know, on your downtime, a lot of people use it as a stress reliever overseas. So I know I did while I was there, and that's, you know, that's something I reflect on. You know, having the opportunity to come out here, compete, and show that all our guys downrange are doing what they have to come home safe.
Is there a different mentality at all from being, let's say, a professional mixed martial arts fighter who does it for a living, who didn't train in the Army or any kind of the military forces? You're already trained for intense purposes and situations. Does that help you going into the ring? Is this kind of an environment where it's just like, wait, this is nothing. I've been through a lot more than this.
Yes, without a doubt. I mean, this is we do it for sport. We'd also do it for combative purposes as well, for combatives applications in real life scenarios. But as far as stepping in the cage on the civilian side, a lot of it's for sport and for the fun of it. I don't take it as seriously because it's not like being downrange. It's not like being deployed for your country. But I do it for the soldiers and to show you can be an athlete in the military and serve your country honorably.
When we were here earlier in the year for more combative championships, a lot of the guys told us that not only is this, you know, skills that you learn for in the ring, but these are actual skills that you as soldiers learn for actual hand-to-hand combat if you find yourself in that situation out in the battlefield. Is that correct?
Absolutely. All the combative techniques that aren't necessarily shown in the ring due to the fact that, you know, rules are dictated to make sure that our soldiers can fight properly and safely. But a lot of it is incorporated into the tactical portion that we teach in our different levels of combatives courses. And this, like Sergeant Colton said, this is just something to hone our skills as soldiers. You know, like you said, we do it for sport, we do it for fun. There's a great camaraderie in the combatives world. and we're basically trying to push it out to our soldiers and make sure, you know, that they do have the warrior ethos to go to our range and finish the fight when they need to.
All right, and you just heard the house announcer probably over the loudspeaker. It sounds like we are about to get underway with the first fight of the night. Sergeant Robert Mitchell of Fort Bragg is going to be fighting specialist Larry Jackson, the man from Fort Hood, and it sounds like we're about to get going here. So looks like if you look towards the runway, you'll see these guys walking out right now. It's an exciting time. Sergeant Robert Mitchell coming out in the blue corner from Fort Bragg. Here he is, the 27-year-old from Lawton, Oklahoma, coming in weighing at 110 pounds. This is his first appearance in these championships. Correction, Robert Mitchell is going to be fighting out of from Fort Benning. And he's going to be facing off against specialist Larry Jackson from Fort Hood. You guys have experience with the specialist, I take it?
Absolutely. Larry Jackson is a phenomenal Greco-Roman wrestler. His strikings came up. He got second place last year. It's going to be a very good fight.
Larry Jackson, 26-year-old from Salisbury, North Carolina. He also weighing in at 110 pounds. And like you heard, Staff Sergeant Colton Smith just mentioned, he placed second in 2011 in this very event.
Yeah, I look to Larry to get Robert Mitchell up against the cage and look to take him down, utilize his wrestling skill set, and we'll see if he can do that.
You guys have experience in this sort of area. Like you just mentioned, Staff Sergeant Smith, Greco-Roman wrestling, we see different kind of fighting styles. We see jiu-jitsu, we see Muay Thai, wrestling. Perhaps, what do you think that all of this, we see judo, we see Greco-Roman wrestling in the Olympics. Would you like to see this type of event in the Olympic Games? The Olympics is going on right now. Would you like to see it perhaps one day?
It's just absolutely, it's something that I like to see. I mean, it's a sport that I love and I've given my heart to, so I mean, it'd be great to see our United States represent in the Olympics.
And there you hear the announcement for specialist Larry Jackson coming out of the red corner. Specialist Jackson is a mainstay here at Fort Hood. And Sergeant Sales, I'm sure you also have seen Specialist Jackson fight in his own time. How does he look to you? What do you expect to see from him in this fight?
Specialist Jackson is just a natural athlete. He tried out for the WCAP wrestling team, I believe, last year. And made the team, and then had the opportunity to try out for their track team as well, and I believe he made the track team for 200-meter hurdles of some sort. But like I said, he's a natural athlete, tough competitor. I've known him for a little bit. I got to train with him while I was out at Fort Carson with the WCAP team, and it's going to be an absolute pleasure to watch him get in here and represent Fort Hood.
We should mention before this fight gets underway, the team standings thus far on the final day of competition. Fort Stewart from Georgia is in the lead with 367 total points. Fort Hood in second place at 346. So there's still some time for Fort Hood to make up some ground and come away with that first place prize. And Staff Sergeant, I know that'd be a great honor for this post, wouldn't it?
You know, Fort Hood also has three people in the finals, as well as the consolation finals. We have 5. So I mean that's 8 fighters, as opposed to Fort Stewart's 4 fighters.
Minnesota National Guard in 3rd, Fort Bragg from North Carolina in 4th, Fort Carson from Colorado in 5th. And here we go with the first fight of the night.
Larry comes out swinging wildly.
Again, Larry Jackson in the red corner.
Trying to clinch up. Like I said, he went out there with the wrestling team, had an opportunity to train with some of the best guys, some of the Olympians out there representing the United States overseas right now.
And we have Larry Jackson with double underhooks here, big throw. And again, oh, he gets the opponent down.
Larry Jackson in red, Robert Mitchell in blue, and Jackson swinging away, looking for an early knockout perhaps, but Mitchell back on his feet, tied up against the cage.
Sergeant Jackson throwing some knees against the fence.
There is a buzz in this crowd. Everybody is excited to be here. You can see it, a packed house to watch these combative championships here in Fort Hood.
And this is what I was talking about here with Specialist Larry Jackson, pinning him against the fence, looking for the takedowns.
Jackson looking to try to gain an advantage. Mitchell now with that right hand trying to swing away. Jackson with the takedown, and he's got the advantage at the moment with the higher ground.
Yeah, Sergeant Jackson didn't mount right here, we see, and it's going to be a tough day right now for Sergeant Mitchell. Looks like he's cage walking here.
Jackson trying to gain the advantage, swinging away now, rights and lefts. Mitchell just trying to hold on.
Specialist Jackson basing out on the mount there. Looks like Mitchell's trying to come out the back door.
Mitchell trying to slip out of the grasp of Specialist Larry Jackson, but Jackson with the advantage. He's not letting him out of his grip.
It's like Specialist Jackson's pinning him against the fence.
Up against the cage now. First round action here in the third place fight in the bantamweight division between Robert Mitchell and Larry Jackson.
There's a lot of that wrestling here too. I mean, you have Specialist Larry Jackson here in the mount. You want to wrestle on the mount. This is a tough position for the bottom man here, Sergeant Mitchell.
And guys, when you hear about bantamweight and weights, you know, both of these guys listed as 110 pounds, and some people might think 110 pounds isn't a lot, but these guys can pack quite a punch at 110 pounds, can't they?
Absolutely. A lot of these competitors cut a little bit of weight to get down there, just to, you know, to make the competition a little more interesting due to the fact that you're going to have a bunch of heavier competitors that have time to cut the weight. Like you said, these guys are going to be a little more explosive just because they are such a lighter weight class. The heavier weight class, there is a lot of power. As you see, especially Jackson laying it on there.
Jackson with the swinging rights and lefts. This fight looks like it could be over soon, but the referee allows it to continue. And Jackson certainly with the upper hand so far in this fight.
Sergeant Mitchell's still putting up a good fight, though. He's underneath trying to control Specialist Jackson's arms, you know, take some of those punches out of the equation. What he needs to do is exactly what he is doing. He's trying to work his feet around to the cage and use the cage for leverage so he can bump Specialist Jackson off of him. But Specialist Jackson's a seasoned wrestler, so he's going to keep that position as long as he can, and only time will tell.
You heard the crowd just chant Jackson, Jackson, Specialist Larry Jackson right here from Fort Hood. And he's trying to get the upper hand. Here comes Mitchell trying to come back down. He flips at him. And here we go.
Okay.
This just shows, the level of competition and just the personal fortitude for them to get in there and then fight out of bad situations like they would if they were downrange.
The way Sergeant Mitchell is get back to his feet, pure heart, pure explosion. Got a good wrestler like Specialist Larry Jackson off of him. Now they're back on their feet trading blows.
And Sergeant Mitchell looked like you mentioned, guys, he looked like he was in trouble on his back, but worked and worked and worked and was able to get out of it, and now he's trying to get himself back in this fight.
Here's Specialist Larry Jackson back in the clinch with Sergeant Mitchell. This is not where Sergeant Mitchell wants to be. He wants to get his back off the fence.
Just like in normal professional MMA, knees, strikes, standing. A lot of the Muay Thai, except for the elbows, are allowed here in the clinch. So as you can see, Specialist Jackson's trying to gain dominant body position. Obviously, he wants to take it to the ground. But Sergeant Mitchell,
and the round's over.
Best.
And a good opening round. A good opening round here in the bantamweight fight between Robert Mitchell and Larry Jackson. First round is in the books, guys. It looked like Larry Jackson had the edge in that first fight, but the last minute or so of that round, Robert Mitchell was able to come back and get some momentum on his side, wasn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. Specials Larry Jackson. He controlled the first round pretty well against the fence and on the mat. Sergeant Mitchell had a late comeback, got back to his feet, but then again he put his back against the fence. Second round, looked for his cornerman to let him know to get his back off the fence.
So now we're going to be heading to the second round. And Larry Jackson, he came out firing early. He had the upper hand, getting the position on top of Robert Mitchell. What's he going to have to do, Sergeant Sales, in order to get back on top and reestablish his dominance in this fight?
Obviously, he's going to have to put his skills out there. You know, he's a wrestler, like I said. He's trained with some of the best in the Army and across the nation, going out there to the world-class athlete program. So he knows how to wrestle. He needs to put those skills forward, get the fight to the ground, and do what he did earlier in the first round.
So round one is in the books, and here we go. We're set to go here for round number 2 in this bantamweight fight for third place.
It looks like
Sergeant Mitchell came out throwing big bombs. Specialist Jackson, be careful ducking his head on those throws. Here we go, we got Specialist Jackson with Sergeant Mitchell up against the fence. Deep overhook here.
And it should be noted that Sergeant Mitchell has no martial arts training, while Larry Jackson has training as a blue belt in jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So this young man with plenty of experience in the ring and in these types of fights.
Absolutely, that's just being a soldier and being tough. You know, Sergeant Mitchell, he's an NCO, he's a soldier. So I mean, stepping in there, any soldier's going to be tough and give anybody a hard time.
Mitchell up against the cage now. Jackson trying to find a hole to maybe go to work. And Mitchell's got him turned, and a little bit of dancing in the middle of the ring. One guy not really gaining the advantage over the other. Jackson trying for the takedown, and he's got it.
Jackson gets the takedown. Landing his half guard here of Sergeant Mitchell. We'll see what happens here, see what kind of guard Sergeant Mitchell has.
A very similar situation here in the second round as we saw in the first round, with Larry Jackson on top of Robert Mitchell swinging away. But right now, Robert Mitchell trying to hold on and prevent Specialist Jackson from getting those hands free, because he did some damage in that first round with those hands.
Absolutely, he sure did. On bottom here, he's breaking his posture, Specialist Jackson's posture, but what he needs to do is get his guard back, full guard back, feet in the hips, get back, cage walk.
Once again, we are live here from Fort Hood at the Combatives Championships on MyTex. Pierre Nugent alongside Staff Sergeant Colton Smith and Sergeant Brandon Sales. And this is just the first of many fights on the card coming up later tonight. The first set of fights you'll see are for third place, and then we'll go on after intermission on to the championship fights. So you certainly don't want to miss those as they come up later on in the broadcast.
Some big strikes here from Specialist Larry Jackson on top of Sergeant Robert Mitchell of Fort Bragg. It can be noted also, Specialist Larry Jackson, he's deployed for 18 months to Operation Iraqi Freedom. He has a combat infantry badge as well, so he's a pretty headstrong guy, I'd say.
Crowd waiting for some action to get going here. These two kind of at a standstill at the moment. Jackson on top of Mitchell, trying to find a way to get in there, maybe start swinging away like we saw in that first round, but Mitchell trying to keep him at bay. And you guys mentioned early, before the fight even started, Sergeant Sales, that you were looking for Jackson to get that early takedown, possibly finish this fight early, but you know what? Robert Mitchell giving him a fight here in the second round.
Absolutely, that just shows the heart of Robert Mitchell. Like I said earlier, a lot of these guys have been deployed already, so they know how to deal with the stresses of combat. And this being just more of a training tool for us to hone our skills as soldiers. It really shows, you know, him fighting out a bad situation. As you saw earlier in the first round, he got back to his feet after being in a really bad situation, being mounted by Specialist Jackson. And once again, he's not giving up the fight here. He's still trying to gain a better position. Larry Jackson still laying it on. Now, as you can see, Sergeant Mitchell here working back to his knees, which is a lot better than him being on his back.
We're in the second round here, this bantamweight fight between Robert Mitchell and Larry Jackson. First round appeared to have gone to Larry Jackson. He certainly did have the upper hand in that first round. Neither fighter really gaining much of an advantage here in the second round. Jackson in the black shirt, Mitchell in white. Jackson from here in Fort Hood. Looking to gain an advantage here. I think this crowd's hungry for some action. They're waiting to see one fighter get to work here, and they're ready for something to cheer.
Yeah, a lot of them are cheering due to the fact that they know how much work these guys have put in to come out here and compete. Yeah, it's a little slower. They want to see some action, but people who actually came out here and experienced the Combatives tournament as well as competition, they know, how hard it is for these guys to get into the ring. And, basically you're standing there, you're in a fight with another fierce competitor. So, there's nothing, as you can see, no one's booing like you would in a pro competition. There's nothing but respect for these guys getting in the cage as soldiers.
And of course, when you step out of the cage, you're all in the same team. As
Exactly.
You're all members of the military forces here. And that was the end of the second round. And now Robert Mitchell and Larry Jackson are going to have to go to round number 3 here in this third place fight. Guys, that second round, not a whole lot of action, but at this point, I think it's safe to say Specialist Larry Jackson from Fort Hood has the upper hand going into this final round.
Without a doubt, Specialist Jackson's been on top. He's been dominating the takedowns. I will say on the feet, though, Sergeant Mitchell is definitely throwing some haymakers, throwing some big shots. Specialist Jackson needs to be careful this round, ducking his head too much on those shots. Watch the knees and the kicks.
Once again, want to give you an update on the standings heading into the final day of competition. Fort Stewart from Georgia is the team that sits atop the standings at this point with 367 points. Fort Hood right behind them in second place with 346. So a win here by Specialist Larry Jackson would certainly give Fort Hood the points to climb up that leaderboard towards first place. And
Look
here
for
we
Sergeant
go.
Mitchell to throw some big punches coming out. He obviously doesn't want it to go to the ground due to the fact that Specialist Jackson's such a good wrestler. But I wouldn't be surprised if he can get a takedown. He looks like he wants to clinch. So
both fighters in the clinch. Larry Jackson there with the takedown, and he's once again gained the upper hand. And now Sergeant Robert Mitchell is in a compromising position, but he slips out of it.
definitely think Sergeant Mitchell should keep it standing as much as possible due to the fact that we haven't seen much action from Specialist Jackson standing up. He reverts back to his wrestling, clinching immediately and then getting the takedown and then establishing dominant body position and trying to finish the fight from there. So
once again, Larry Jackson in the red corner, Robert Mitchell in the blue. And we are in the third round of this bantamweight fight.
Okay, now we have Sergeant Robert Mitchell trying to take down Specialist Larry Jackson. Larry's on the head here in the turtle position.
Seems like Sergeant Mitchell just can't get things going, so to speak. Like Sergeant Sales just mentioned, he was hoping that he would see him on his feet a little bit more in this round. Things just have not gone his way thus far.
yeah, just the caliber of wrestler that Specialist Jackson is, it's going to be very hard to take a...
Okay, we got Specialist Jackson here with the anaconda choke. He's going to look to roll here to secure it. There he goes to roll.
Walk
right
around
in
and
the
secure his
fence.
legs so he can't shrimp out anymore. But once again, Sergeant Mitchell still fighting on, trying to improve his position a little bit, take the pressure off his neck.
Staff Sergeant Colton Smith calling that one right there, looking for the roll. And Specialist Jackson, rather, was able to get it, but it looks like Mitchell, once again, he's finding a way out of every kind of compromising position he's been in. He's found a way out of it, guys. Give much credit to him.
Yeah, Sergeant Mitchell is a very resilient guy. You know, he definitely lives a warrior ethos for sure.
Jackson with a knee to the body, trying to weaken Mitchell's hold. And he looks like he's got his arm around his neck, looking for maybe looking for the submission here.
We got a power guillotine here up front. We have Specialist Jackson trying to secure the choke on Sergeant Mitchell.
Honestly, it just shows the mental toughness of Sergeant Mitchell. That is a very, very, very deep choke.
The referee is waiting and waiting, and he's looking. And you just saw there that Robert Mitchell giving the thumbs up, saying he's okay. He wants this fight to continue, and who can blame him?
Yep, got out of it.
All right, back on the feet they are.
Not going to be easy to take Sergeant Mitchell out.
And that guillotine chokehold that you mentioned, guys, I mean, that's a tough one to break out of. It just, again, the resiliency of Robert Mitchell, very impressive in this fight. Jackson, once again, trying to go on the offensive. Mitchell swinging away now with the rights, trying to get a couple of body blows in there. Mitchell backed up against the cage, perhaps waiting for his time to strike, but he's running out of time as we are in the third round.
Yeah, Sergeant Mitchell's definitely going to have to do something drastic. He's going to need a knockout, I think. But to get out of this situation, he's going to have to fight for double on hooks. He's going to have to pummel a little bit. But caliber of wrestler that Specialist Jackson is, I don't see this happening. Once again, you see him dropping lower, get his legs for the big takedown. Walking away from the cage. And Sergeant Mitchell trying to achieve the guard position. Landing some good strikes.
All right, we're in the full guard of Sergeant Mitchell here. Specialist Jackson should look to posture, throw some strikes, but right now, Sergeant Mitchell is keeping the posture down. Feet in the hips, might be crawling up for an arm bar or a triangle here, guys.
He's going to need it to secure this victory. At 10 seconds. He needs to do something big to get out of this. If not, I'm pretty sure that Specialist Jackson will secure this win.
And there's the bell, and the referee breaks up the fight, and that'll do it for this third place fight in the bantamweight division between Robert Mitchell and Larry Jackson. A spirited fight, guys, and it looks like it's going to go the way of Larry Jackson, but we'll wait for the official decision. But a spirited fight between these two.
Absolutely, a lot of heart put in there. As you can see, both of these guys, they put a lot of work in. Come out here and compete against the best the military has to offer. So, hats off to these guys coming out here and representing their post.
And like Sergeant Sales says, I have Specialist Larry Jackson winning the unanimous decision. He controlled all 3 rounds. Got his opponent, Sergeant Mitchell from Fort Bragg, up against the fence, took him down, and controlled him while he was on the ground as well. Mitchell never really looking like he was able to get in any type of rhythm in this fight, and like you guys mentioned, Larry Jackson with just completely controlling this fight from beginning to end. And here we go with the decision. And
Specialist Larry Jackson.
There we go.
Yep, well-deserved victory for Specialist Jackson.
Like we were expecting, a unanimous decision for Larry Jackson. A good fight here between these two. And that's points for Fort Hood. Fort Hood getting some points here for this third place win, so that's good news for the boys here at Fort Hood. Climbing up the standings, trying to creep up on Fort Stewart from Georgia, who's currently in the lead with 367 points. And our next fight in the flyweight actually is going to be pitting a Fort Hood guy against a Fort Stewart guy. So as far as points goes, this is going to be a big match. A very big match. All right, so Larry Jackson with some words after the fight in his victory, gaining points, like we said, for Fort Hood. And now we're ready to move on to the flyweight fight, and that's featuring Private First Class Joshua Young from Fort Stewart and Staff Sergeant Aaron Riley from Fort Hood.
5 feet 5 inches tall, weighs at 125 pounds. Out of Fort Stewart, Georgia, PFC Joshua Young.
Private First Class Joshua Young fighting out of the blue corner from Fort Stewart, guys. And like Colton just mentioned, big fight here. This is first place team versus second place team. What is Aaron Riley going to have to do in order to get points for his team here at Fort Hood?
You know, Sergeant Riley is a guy that just started training with us. Not a whole lot of athletic experience prior. He is a very methodical fighter. He's extremely good submissions. And he put almost 3 guys to sleep during the tournament itself, you know, and you'll see him. He's a very, very quiet, well-mannered individual, a great NCO.
So here's Joshua Young from Fort Stewart, 22 years old, weighing in at 124 pounds. This is his first appearance in these championships. So we've got an individual making his first ever third place fight appearance here at the Fort Hood Combative Championship. And Staff Sergeant Aaron Riley is going to be coming out of that corner here momentarily for the red corner.
Introduce his opponent. Fighting out of the red corner. He stands at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing at 125 pounds, out of Fort Hood, Texas, Staff Sergeant Aaron Riley.
So here comes Aaron Riley.
You know, this is a guy that's been deployed 3 times, Operation Iraqi Freedom. I mean, he has a lot of personal gains with this as well. I mean, as far as this fight's gonna go, he's been through so much in his career and in his life that I think, you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun for both these fighters.
This is this is a fight, our second consecutive fight where we feature a no martial arts training guy in Joshua Young versus a guy who does have martial arts training, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, is Aaron Riley. Guys, does that make a difference at all at this point, whether you have some kind of martial arts training or anything like that? At this point, I'm guessing not a whole lot of difference, but I'm sure it gives you a little bit of advantage.
I believe that Sergeant Riley, he is also a level 3 combatives instructor, or excuse me, a level 1 combatives instructor. So he's got, he's got a lot more experience as far as competition as well as combatives training in general. PFC Joshua Young only being level 1 certified, but he does have the basis of combatives. A little bit of ground grappling, I'm sure. But coming out of Fort Stewart, they got a really tough team. As you said, they're ahead in the standings. It shows us that they put in some hard work as far as training. So I'm not going to underestimate, PFC Joshua Young, just because, if they're ahead in the standings, they must have been doing something right.
So we're about to get ready to go here in this flyweight third place fight, and there's the bell. First round action is underway. Once again, Aaron Riley in the red corner, Joshua Young in the blue corner. Riley connects there in the face of Young, but Young coming right back trying to pin Riley against the cage, and he does just that.
PFC Young looks like he's trying to gain the dominant body position up against the cage, but again, that experience of Sergeant Riley, not letting get those double underhooks yet.
Yeah, it looks like Sergeant Riley's peeling him up here. PFC Young, though, getting tough, keeping on the fence there.
As you can see, this isn't like a normal pro MMA match. These guys are in here in their modified Army uniform, wearing their unit T-shirts representing the Army, due to the fact that when they go down range, they're not going to be in any sort of MMA gear. They're going to be in uniform. And
out now.
Big punch by Joshua Young, putting Sergeant Aaron Riley on his back.
Looks like Sergeant Riley's trying to get his guard back here. Okay, he secures half guard. He's breaking the posture. Big punch from PFC Young there. That was a good punch.
As I said, you can't underestimate these guys. Just because they don't have a lot of training, anybody has a puncher's chance, especially, a young athlete such as PFC Young. Him passing the guard of Sergeant Riley right now, trying to achieve the side control position. But again, that experience is coming in a little bit, him trying to recompose some sort of guard, push off, and get back to his feet where he can gain a better position. You rather than being on his back. So
you saw Riley give the thumbs up to the referee, saying he's okay. He wants this fight to continue. And right now, PC Young in control of this fight, connecting there with a left to the face of Aaron Riley. And Riley's got some work to do if he wants to get himself back into this fight.
Yeah, right now it looks like he's just trying to compose himself. As you can see, he's still trying to set up a submission off his back, which is, comes from his blue belt training in jiu-jitsu, as well as combatives level 1, 2, and 3. So, don't count him out just yet. Yeah, he got hit, but as you can see, he's resilient and still fighting the good fight, trying to get back to his feet. But again, PFC Young, tough competitor.
Yeah, absolutely. PFC Young, man, he's resilient. He's going after him. Okay, here comes Sergeant Riley coming back, some big punches.
Look out now. Here we go. We got fans on their feet.
Wow. They're going toe to toe.
Obviously, this is what the crowd wants to see.
Young perhaps using a lot of his energy too early in this fight. He looks a little tired.
Absolutely. He may have gassed himself out at this point. He's fighting some pure adrenaline.
Riley now trying to gain the advantage. Knee to the body. And
big haymaker by PFC Young, pushing Sergeant Riley back. Oh!
Connecting on the chin, and this
is gas.
My goodness.
Just
like
brawling
PFC
at this
Young
point.
walking right into it. Rockin' sockin' robots here, guys.
Throw technique out the window. These guys are just in a straight old fight. And
heart, showing heart. Intestinal fortitude. There Riley goes again. Big body punches. PFC Young said he had enough going for the takedown.
If this is what we're seeing in round number 1.
He's trying to compose himself, trying to... Oh, and the referee calls.
The referee
can't
stops
throw you back to an opponent like that, especially this early into a fight. The biggest thing is safety of the soldiers. The referee stopped the fight due to the fact that PFC Young wasn't protecting himself anymore. Big punches like that being thrown, you can't take anything away from these guys. So
absolutely. Earlier in this fight, Sergeant Riley was getting, he got knocked down, came back.
Well, as you can see, the points total, let's rack some points up for Fort Hood.
It certainly does. It puts Fort Hood in position now to move back up into the standings towards first place. Aaron Riley, guys, just saw now, he was in trouble early in this round on his back, took a couple of shots, found a way to get back on his feet, and it looked like PC Young ran out of gas a little bit, and Riley was able to take advantage.
Yeah, that might just be the experience coming in. Sergeant Riley knew that he had to, control the situation on the ground, recompose, especially when he got put in his back with that big punch from PFC Young. He did so, weathered the storm, got back to his feet, and landed his own punches, which rocked PFC Young.
And
Fort Hood, Texas.
Yeah, that was definitely a crucial fight for Fort Hood there.
And the fans loving it here at Fort Hood because the local product getting the victory, and like we mentioned, that's points for Fort Hood to try to move up the standings to catch up to Fort Stewart. And Aaron Riley there getting the trophy from General Campbell. A very entertaining fight, guys, I gotta say.
Absolutely, this is what the crowd came to see.
Yeah, they both laid it out there on the line, and one guy went down, got back to his feet, ended up finishing the fight on TKO on the feet. So, that's a testament right there to the soldiers' intestinal fortitude and fighting on.
I'm sure Sergeant Riley was fighting on a little bit extra due to the fact that he's from Fort Worth, Texas. He probably got some family in the crowd.
And we're about
I'm sure he does.
And we're about to hear from Aaron Riley. Are we going to get an in-ring interview? No, I guess not. Riley, honestly, he's going to enjoy this moment. Guys, let me ask you this. When you take, in Riley's position earlier in the fight, when you take a couple of blows to the face and to the body like he did, it rattles you at first. But how are you able to compose yourself and get back on track and try to put the pain behind you to get back into the fight?
That's all what we train for. That all happens behind the scenes, the weeks coming up to the competition.
To tell you the truth, a lot of times it isn't the pain of getting rattled like Sergeant Riley did. It's more the running on the adrenaline rush. Knowing that you're out there, representing, as like I said, Sergeant Riley was representing your unit. A lot of your family being out here, so I'm sure he knew he had to get back to his feet and put it all on the line at that point due to the fact that if he didn't get back to his feet, PFC Young probably would have won that round.
And now we're going to move on to the lightweight division now in the third place fight between Specialist Blaze Schubert from Fort Campbell coming out here now in the blue corner. He's going to be taking on Sergeant Jesse Herzog from Fort Bragg. He's going to come out here momentarily in the red corner. So no Fort Hood product in this fight, but guys, it's shaping up to be a very entertaining fight here between Schubert and Herzog.
Absolutely. Sergeant Jesse Herzog won the competition last year. I think he might have won 155. I'm not sure if he cut weight this time to drop down to 140. But he is a champion